My video for January the 8th, 2019 is video number 2959. The title is Military Tribunals for Elite Traitors at Gitmo. Supposedly, there are over 70,000 sealed indictments, although some Operation Disclosure reports indicate that some were unsealed toward the end of 2018 and more after January 2nd. Last night, I attended a meeting in which a well-known local astrologer was the speaker. She presented the birth chart for Donald Trump. There were people there like myself who wanted to see the corporate criminals, known and unknown, brought to trial for their crimes against humanity. However, there were also those who want Trump taken out either by being found guilty of anything or else executed Kennedy style. Even though the presentation was non-political in nature, the undercurrent was palpable. I know several in the room who were and still are Hillary supporters. At least some of them just wanted a woman in the White House. To me, she is even worse a criminal than Bill. Gender has nothing to do with it. Of course, most seem incapable of critical thinking. They are not stupid, just blinded by mainstream media rhetoric. Any mention of Gitmo is simply avoided. One woman came up to me after the meeting to let me know that she agreed with me. I hope these alleged trials are real. If so, perhaps the White Hats will finally win, and we will see the swamp drained at last. Yes, political arguments are not welcome in the metaphysicians circle, which is what I was attending last night. And there was a really good attendance there. One lady even brought a child who was playing games on the internet with headphones on. I guess she couldn't get a babysitter, but in any case, she was not part. The little girl was not part of the part of the meeting. But there was a lot of discussion back and forth, especially when I pushed, because she had mentioned at the beginning of her talk, which went over longer than it was scheduled to go. But at the beginning, she had mentioned that she wanted to possibly do Donald Trump's chart, and time had already run out, and I pushed to get that chart shown and with some commentary on it. And wow, wow. I was a bit shocked, to be honest with you, that especially one individual was so vociferous in wanting Trump out of the White House. I mean, just any way possible. And I mean, this is supposedly a spiritual person, and I'm sure she is a spiritual person. I know a number of people in the metaphysical community that went for the march on Washington and were very strong supporters of Obama, and very strong Democrats, and they don't see the Democratic Party the same way I do. It's a demon party. It's not. It has an agenda that is not a righteous agenda from my perspective, and it doesn't do any good to butt heads against the wall, as I keep saying. I mean, we can argue and we don't get anywhere. It doesn't change anything. It was also fascinating that yesterday I had a meeting where I finally got to present my story about Jesus, Christmas, Turkey, and India, which I had presented it at a different group, and nobody showed up. I mean, we had 6 people showed up for the meeting, and yesterday morning I had a really nice turnout, and it was a really good discussion, and I got to present the whole the whole thing without being interrupted. In any case, folks, I would like to see, and I would like to get everyone to open our minds and our hearts and our eyes enough to see what's going on behind the scenes. It is not pretty what is happening. And we need to understand that the Federal Reserve, in fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the woman that was so vociferous, I think her daughter, if I'm not mistaken, she said her daughter works for the Federal Reserve as an attorney, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Anyway, you know, this thing is creating all sorts of strife in many people's hearts and minds, and it's very difficult for some people to talk about it because it's so emotionally charged. It's hard to be rational, and we have to somehow find our rationality and exercise restraint insofar as calling the other people wrong. But yet some things are so obvious. I mean, how can we miss it? But of course, if all of our news is obtained through the mainstream media, we do not get a clear picture of what's going on. We just simply don't. The mainstream media is bought and paid for by the same people that create wars for their own profit, because they make money destroying and rebuilding. Everything is about money. It's a game to these demonic individuals, and Hillary is one of them. Bill, of course, was not a lot better, but I think he was certainly smoother in his presentation than Hillary. Hillary, you know, couldn't even draw crowds at her rallies when she was running for president, and Trump was drawing huge crowds. Am I a Trump person? Well, again, no, I didn't vote for Trump. I wouldn't vote for Trump. I still adopt a wait and see attitude toward him. I want to see if he's able to pull off what he promised, to drain the swamp. I am told by the people in Operation Disclosure that he has surrounded himself with his own personal hand-picked bodyguards, if you will. And he has a lot of people, a lot of white hats that are working with him to actually bring about positive change on behalf of humanity. And once these changes happen and become mainstream, I think people will, some of them will be very embarrassed, but we will finally begin to understand the tremendous amount of deception that has gone on by, again, the mainstream media. It's in our institutions of higher learning, and even some of the institutions of lower learning. Everything is controlled. It's a deep state control mechanism that I have seen for a very long time. And I wish more and more people would see it. And I'm rooting for Donald Trump and the trials at Gitmo. And I guess he actually invited some of the media to attend some of these trials. I don't know who in the media, but in any case, this should be an interesting unfolding over the next, who knows how long it's going to take, probably a half a year at least, and maybe even longer. In any case, maybe the swamp will get drained. Maybe Gitmo will be a turning point for not just America, but for the entire world, where we will actually reach the place where humanity can be freed from the clutches of this evil cabal. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.